Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Barbecuing in the Backyard with Big Kiss. Today we're going to do a chuck roast. We're going to make some pulled beef sandwiches or some sliced beef sandwiches, however you want to do it. You can do it a couple ways. You can do a pulled beef barbecue sandwich, or you can do a nice thinly sliced beef sandwich with some au jus, something like that, and it's amazing. So I got about a 2¼ pound roast here. What I did is I like to take the paper towel, dry all the moisture off of it, and I'm going to take this Sweet Baby Ray's Smokehouse marinade sauce, and I've tried this on steak as kind of on the side. Really good stuff. So I thought, yeah, we're going to try this on a roast. Then we're going to season it with a bunch of seasonings, throw it on the smoker. It's probably only going to take 2, maybe 3 hours. Once again, it's only a 2¼ pound roast. But what you want to see is you want to get a roast with a lot of marbling. There's some fat in here. Don't worry about that. That's where all the flavor is going to come from. It'll cook down, it'll melt out, and it's just going to leave you with all that good flavor. Remember, all the flavor is going to come from the fat and the marbling in the meat. So you want some of that. I particularly don't like chewing on a piece of fat on the edge of a steak or whatever, but once again, this fat will melt down. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to inject it. I'm just going to rub it, kind of like you would if you were to marinate it in the refrigerator. Now, if you have time to marinate it for a few hours or overnight, more power to you. Try that out. For time constraints, I'm going to do it this way. But once again, if you have time to marinate it for a couple hours overnight, that's just probably all the better it's going to be. So try that out. Try some different things. There is no rules. Have fun, experiment a little bit, and your taste buds will tell you what is good and what didn't work. So just try different things out. Anyway, so once again, I'm just going to pour this on. I'm gonna rub it in really good with my seasonings. We're going to throw it on the smoker. Probably take 2-3 hours. We want the internal temperature to get somewhere around that 125 to 145 range, depending on if we want to do the pulled pork or if we would just want to slice it thinly and make some nice beef sandwiches. There's a couple other things. I found this at the store. This Tony's injectables. It comes with the marinade and the injector here on the side, or you can just get the injector itself and use any other kind. I picked this up for, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 at Walmart. I'm not going to use this today. I'm going to do that in another episode. I'm going to do some chickens, maybe a turkey. We're going to inject it with a bunch of different marinades, and that's to come here in the future. So we're going to try that out. So now I got the chuck roast. I got it dried off, ready to go. I'm going to actually, bees, it's that time of year. I'm going to pour some steak sauce on here, this smokehouse sauce, and we're going to rub that in. All right, just rub it in really good. Make sure you get everything good and coated. You don't want any part of the meat not getting any love, you know what I mean? So get it in there good, rub it in, make sure everything's covered, just like so. And there's some really great seasonings in here. You can see the black peppercorns from the steakhouse seasoning. Hard to see, but those black dots there are some nice cracked peppercorns. That's going to be tasty. And then I like to use a little mixture of a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I picked this up. This is like a Montreal steak seasoning. It's just called Steakhouse. You got some pepper flakes. You got some fennel seeds, of course, salt, black pepper, a little bit of everything. Steakhouse seasoning. And we are going to cover that real liberally. Just hammer that seasoning on there. Get it good and covered. And that's going to give you a nice bark, nice crust on the outside of the meat. You want to get it on the edges too. Pat it in there. be afraid. And I found this stuff. This is Famous Dave's seasoning. If you've ever been to the barbecue, famous place, Famous Dave's, it's a good mix. It's got salt, garlic, sprinkle a little bit on there. Let that soak in a little bit. Pat it in. All right, now we're going to do the other side. Flip it over. More of the sauce. Rub it in good. Let's cover the meat good with the sauce. Let it get in all the little areas. Just be good to it. There. Good flavoring. All right, Montreal seasoning, or what we call steakhouse seasoning. Just gonna hammer that on here good. Cover it well. Some people may think, man, that's way too much seasoning. Well, some of it's gonna fall off, some of it's gonna cook in, and it's just gonna become a nice bark-like crust on the outside of the roast. And it's not like you're taking a whole bite of just the seasoning. So don't worry, it'll all work out. Some of this Famous Dave's barbecue seasoning. Bingo. And it's ready for the smoker. So here's what I'm gonna do. Cover this back up. And the bees are terrible this time of year. As most of you know, up here in Wisconsin, it gets really bad this time of year with the bees. Just try to keep my hands somewhat clean, because I'm going to use this to also throw the meat on the grill without touching it with my bare hands. So, all right, everybody, follow me. We're going to go over here to the smoker. Alright, so in the smoker, I got some lump charcoal, a little bit of Kingsford, just to keep it good and hot. Now I'm going to throw on some of my red oak. That's to keep it good and hot, keep that temperature steady. We want to keep it steady around 225 to 250, so that I'm not checking on the firebox every 5-10 minutes. I'm going to put a chunk of red oak in the box. It's going to get everything good and hot, get the party started. And then the good stuff. Got a couple nice chunks. I split a cherry wood log, so I got some cherry wood here, and this is going to give your beef a lot of flavor. If you never tried cherry wood and beef, it's amazing. It's really good for pork. You can use oak, maple, cherry, apple, whatever you want. So today I'm going to use pretty much all cherry wood with a little bit of oak, just to keep the temperature where I want it to be. And the oak gives great flavor too, okay? So I'm gonna lay those down in there, get those going a little bit. I like to make sure I got my vents open. I got the side vents, I got the firebox open at the bottom, really get things heated up. Then I'll close everything down. I'll open up the top vent up here. Right now I'm gonna start out with it open about halfway, keeping most of that smoke in. Looks like the fire's going good. I'm going to open up the smoker here, and I have this little extra grate. I got 2 grates there on the bottom. Ooh, that's hot. Anyway, I got a grate there just so it's easier to pick up if you have oven gloves or something on. So I'm going to put this roast right here on that grill, on that grate. And I got it further away from the fire, so it's going to get a lot of smoke, but we want to smoke it at a lower temperature, real slow. That's what's going to keep it nice and moist, not dry it out, but it's going to get all that smoke flavor. So I moved it to the other end of the smoker, and that's where we're going to keep it. Now we're going to let that burn down a little bit. I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to keep an eye on my temperature. Like I said, I want to keep it around 225-ish, maybe not any higher than 250. And we're going to let this go. Actually, what I'm going to do is I have a digital thermometer here. I'm going to put this probe into the thickest part of the meat so we can tell exactly where we are throughout the smoking process, so we know exactly what the internal temperature is. So it's just a little probe. You can pick these up at the store for about 25 bucks. Stick it into the thickest part of the meat here. Now, we're going to close this down. And I'll have to set it, but it's telling me the meat's still a little cold. But I'm going to set that at about 125 degrees, then I'll know where the meat is, and then I can keep testing it and find out where I want to pull it off the fire at what temperature. So I'm going to start closing this down. Looks like it's getting good and hot. I'm going to close down the firebox. Let the smoke get rolling. I have the top open about halfway. And we're just going to let that smoke roll through. I'm going to check it in about an hour and a half, see where we're at, and then I'll come back with a part two. I'm going to slice the meat, pull it apart with some forks, and show you the result. So stay tuned for part two. This is Big Kiss, barbecuing in the backyard. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.